Hello, YouTube friends. Remember me? I'm Johnny, the PIEV guy. It's good to see you again. Thanks for tuning in. So it's been a while since I posted a video. Just with the world pandemic due to COVID-19 and people dying, very serious situation around the world and people in lockdown. I didn't think it'd be a good idea to post videos about my fancy electric car here in Prince Edward Island. But since the country seems to be on the mend now, at least for this first wave, I thought I'd take some time here and update you guys on what we've been up to and what the future holds for this summer, hopefully for us. So, as always, excuse me as I read from my notes here. First of all, you may remember me mentioning that our family had a trip planned to Orlando, Florida in early February. Along the way, I wanted to vlog our adventures all the way down to Orlando and back with the SuperChargers and the hotels and all that stuff. But, unfortunately, no sooner did we hit the bypass here in Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island, leaving for our trip, and I started to get sick. No, it wasn't the coronavirus. I had a bronchial infection. I could barely talk. I didn't sound good on camera, not that I do anyway. And it just wasn't up to vlogging every single stop. And since it was February, it was super cold, and I didn't think it'd be a good idea to be standing outside filming in the cold weather while I was sick. Another reason why it was hard to charge is because with the software update we got a few months ago that allows this car to charge at 170 kilowatts per hour, we barely had time to do anything, let alone vlog. SuperCharging is so fast and awesome. All right, so let's get to the trip. I'll explain more. So like I said, we had a blast driving down to Florida and back in this Tesla Model 3. It was awesome. We logged over 6,800 kilometers round trip, not bad. Each stop was only maybe 10 or 15 minutes just to top up to get us enough juice to get to the next supercharger. And as we made our way south, the range got better in the car, obviously, because of the warmer temperatures, and we were able to go that much longer without supercharging. One spot we had a problem. As we were north of Richmond, Virginia, it was super long. I think it was almost 3 hours for us, which is a long time in this car. Because the 3 superchargers in Richmond are actually inside the beltway. It was a little bit out of the way for us. We decided to do an endurance run around the beltway of Richmond, Virginia to get us to Rocky Mount, North Carolina. So that means we had to just slow down, turn down the heat a bit. We were doing under the speed limit, and we were actually behind a transport truck. Not super close, but enough to help our efficiency, just to make sure that we got there. That was the only area we had any trouble. Even with a standard range plus, where the range of the car is 375 kilometers or 220 miles, we still had plenty of juice to get between each charger. It was no problem at all. What we would do is keep the car in a lower state of charge, just enough, like I said, to get us to the next one. Because as you know, when you arrive at a supercharger, the lower the state of battery, the faster kilowatts you'll charge. So it kind of made it more efficient for us. Also, along the way, we booked nights in hotels at Hampton Inns, some of which have Tesla destination chargers for us. So my plan was just to roll in, charge up the car to 100% or so, and then keep going in the next morning. One problem in Benson, North Carolina is the Hampton Inn, they had either disconnected or depowered the destination charger, I assume because other Tesla owners were just rolling up and getting free juice. And the hotel clerk did try to go into the back, into the maintenance areas, and try to find the breaker and try to fix it for me, but unfortunately she couldn't. And I was kind of upset because I had booked, not only did I book that hotel, all the hotels we booked were Hampton Inns because I wanted that destination charging. She very kindly let me plug in the car to a 110 volt outlet outside the door, and where they could see the car from the front desk, in hopes that they would keep an eye on it in case something happened to it. Nothing did, but we only got like 8 or 9% overnight while we slept. And the next morning we had to go to the next supercharger, like just an hour away. We limped in there with just enough juice and then kept going. Other than that, every other charger was great. We got to see some cool parts of America, like Savannah, Georgia, and just outside Jacksonville. Met all sorts of great people. And that's a cool part about Tesla superchargings on a trip, because you have time to get out of the car and kind of walk around and meet people. Where at a gas station, you just fill it up, go to the bathroom, and keep going, right? So that's another bonus to owning a Tesla. Something we learned to do on this trip was kind of trust the Tesla navigation. Now, you may remember, I I've vlogged before that I don't trust this navigation at all. I'm not sure how the software decides on which route to get you there. Our car has a knack of taking us down dirt roads somewhere. I think it's trying to go by the shortest distance to your destination, which may not always be the best thing. Anyway, so I don't remember where we were in the States, but we were driving just along the highway, no problem, and the car insisted that we get off at a certain exit and go around the town and then get back on. And again, I don't know why it was doing this, and we just straight up ignored it. And as we continued down, there was some kind of construction traffic jam that delayed us for an hour. So I think the live navigation was telling us, hey, there's a stop up here, go around. We didn't, and it cost us some time. So live and learn, I guess. So after 3 days, we finally arrive in Orlando, Florida. We stopped to supercharge one last time to give the car a bunch of power to sit while it rests while we were at Universal Studios, which was kind of cool. We stopped. I was watching the Tim Tracker, one of my favorite vloggers about Orlando, Florida. So it was kind of sublime to sit, supercharge, watch our favorite YouTuber from Orlando, Florida, the Tim Tracker, on our Tesla Model 3 while we're in Orlando. So we spent 5 days in Universal Studios and 1 day at Disney in Florida. I resisted the temptation to open the app and check in the car, because that, as you wake up the car, it'll drain the battery faster. But I finally, on the last day before we were headed out, I turned it on, checked. The car had lost maybe 7 or 8% power. It was nothing. We didn't affect the range or anything at all. We were able to drove up to Disney, stayed a night on that side in that area of Orlando. And that brings me to another point I want to talk about with having an electric car. Especially, this was a bonus in Florida, but I'm sure there's these type of situations everywhere. So we're driving into Disney Hollywood Studios for the day, and we're following the long line of traffic after we pay the outrageous fee to park. And the parking lot's maybe half full, and they're directing everybody to start to line up and park. And the attendant sees our car, and she's guiding people to our left to park, and she waves us to the right. And as we kind of go through, we roll down the window to see what the deal is. And she says, if you're looking to charge your car, I think there's an open spot down by the entrance to the park. Okay. So we drive down, and sure enough, there was 3 charging stations there. 2 of them were Teslas. And we parked our car, plugged it in, no problem, and walked right in. It was a short walk right to the front of the gate. So it was almost like VIP parking. So we plugged the car in and let it charge while we went and had our fun at Disney Hollywood Studios. Rise of the Resistance is the best ride ever. It's so great. And then while we're coming back out, we opened the app. The car was at a nice, pleasant temperature for us. All of it feeding off this free energy we were getting from the parking lot at Disney. That was the end of our trip in Orlando. So we drove an hour to the east to what they call the Space Coast. We had rented an Airbnb in a beautiful old Victorian home. And then we were spending 2 days going around the NASA Kennedy Space Center complex. And once again, we had the exact same experience. We roll into park, and we were told that there's a free electric vehicle charging right at the front of the gate. And check out this picture. Look how close we are to the gate from where we were parked. So that's awesome. As a matter of fact, we left the climate on in the car to keep our lunch at a reasonable temperature. And we came back out, we were hungry, and we had a nice little picnic in our cool car. And what can I say about the Kennedy Space Center? That was an outstanding experience of 2 days. We did extended tour around the grounds and got to see all the rockets and stuff like that. I spent a little money in the gift shop, and if you're any kind of a space nut like I am, I highly recommend going down there, especially if you have an electric car, because you can charge for free. So after spending a couple days on the east coast of Florida, we started our journey north. It was pretty sad to see the temperature in the car start to drop as we headed back north. We did stop and see New York for a day and parked the car in New Jersey and had a hotel over on that side of the Hudson River. Pretty cool trip to see New York. Saw a Broadway show and 30 Rock and all that cool stuff. And then we came home. It was just a couple days later. Quick short hops. We were back in Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island. And then, of course, in early March, Prince Edward Island gets its first case of the coronavirus. Seemingly everything shuts down, including me. I was laid off. We didn't do much driving for the first little bit. But after a few weeks, we started to get a little bit stir crazy, and we felt more comfortable going out into the world. We took the car for a drive, just the three of us, drive around certain parts of the island, just to get out of the house, really. And I did make a couple of time-lapse videos, so I'll throw those in either while I'm talking here or at the end of the videos, and you can kind of see as we whip around Prince Edward Island. They're not very long, so still kind of a fun thing to do. And as the island reopens here, I will start to venture out more and do more exploring on the island when I have time. One thing Tesla's been great at is software updates. We've gotten several software updates over the last few months. I couldn't even begin to tell you where we are with the updates and all the stuff that's new. It's so much content. New features for people with full self-driving. That's not us, by the way. And a myriad of other minor little things. But if something massive and monumental comes through, I'll make sure to show it to you guys. So like I said, I'm back at it now. I'm going to try to get out and do more videos. I'm going to start with going into Charlottetown to kind of complement my Summerside video. I'll show everyone what is around in Charlottetown for level 2 chargers. And we finally have some decent level 3 chargers in Charlottetown. I'm going to get out and show those to you guys and what the cost and what you need. Also, Parks Canada has announced that they're going to install level 2 chargers at the federal beaches. That's Cavendish and Brackley Beach on the North Shore, Prince Edward Island. And when those get installed and go live, I will go up there and give a review of the area and the chargers themselves. So let's look forward to that. And if you guys have any questions or ideas that something you want to see filmed here in Prince Edward Island, please send me an email at right here. Please don't forget to do the stuff with the liking, subscribing, and all that stuff that gets the video out there with the YouTube algorithm and whatever witchcraft happens to get the video out there. And thank you all again for your patience. I appreciate every single one of you guys, and I will talk to you guys shortly. See ya.